Hi, I'm Joe, and today is the first day of fall, at least here in North America, and we're going to rebuild one of my Creator 3-in-1 sets. You may remember that about 3 months ago, towards the beginning of summer, for Father's Day, I published a video about this Creator 3-in-1 set number 31038, Changing Seasons, which I had said was one of my favorite sets because each of the alternate builds represents a different season. And this was summer, as you can tell by the swimming pool and the barbecue. So I think it's time now, since it's the first day of fall, to take it apart and build the next season. So I'm going to get started on that. Okay, here it is all taken apart. And I thought I'd just take a minute and show you what I do when I'm taking apart a 3-in-1 set or separating pieces to build a rebrickable model. Because, of course, this 3-in-1 set, even though it was built into the A model, didn't come with numbered bags back when it was first released. So I was building it then with all the pieces jumbled, which at the time for a 500-piece model was a little bit of a challenge, but I did get it together and I've kind of gotten used to it. But I figured I've managed to collect a whole bunch of these plastic containers. These are just those regular cheap plastic containers, and usually the ones I use for Lego are ones where the lid's broken. So the container's not really good for storing anything, but they are great for separating pieces. And I kind of separate a little bit by color. Here I've got white and gray, and then the tan and the dark red. And sometimes, to save space, I'll combine colors. And here I have green and brown mixed together. And since there's not really that many of each color, I won't have any trouble sifting through there to get what pieces I need, especially since I'll probably be getting these green pieces out early in the build because I'm sure they'll be the base. Red, yellow, and orange, not that many pieces. I always reserve a bin for what I call the odd pieces, which is usually the translucent pieces and wheels and windshields and things like that. The light brick is in there. And then we've got black, blue. Then I always keep the minifigures off to the side because we don't need those till the end anyway. So here's the instructions for the B model, which represents fall, and I'll get building on that. And here it is, the fall version of the Changing Seasons set. It's not a whole lot different from the summer version, other than the overall footprint's a lot smaller, the house is a lot smaller, and I have to say that the color choices of the bricks involved in the original set work great for summer and winter, but there's not a whole lot of red, yellow, and orange and traditional fall colors involved. So this model is doing the best it can with what it has. What you don't see necessarily here, but you might have seen in the parts when I had them separated, is that there's a surprising amount of white that comes in this set, and I can only imagine that was done so the winter model can look more snowy. I'll definitely build that when we get closer to winter, because I usually build all 3 models every year. Whereas the red, yellow, and orange is mostly just the 1x1 red, yellow, and orange round plates. But we'll look at some of the details here. The light brick, curiously, is used here on this corner, and it looks like this is supposed to be like a pile of leaves, at least I would think, unless it's supposed to be a pile of sticks for like a bonfire or something. But here's the light brick. You have the button right there, and it lights up, and I'll give you a little closer look at it. And it kind of shines through that red brick, even though it's not a trans red, just to give you that warmth. And I don't know if where you're from, you have bonfires or campfires or anything out in the fall. I know that my family out in the more rural areas of Indiana will often do hay rides, and they might have a fire. And I know growing up, we used to roast hot dogs and marshmallows over the fire in the fall. Actually, we would roast marshmallows over the fire any season that we could actually make a fire. Moving around here, we actually have a slight suggestion of Halloween, where we've got the orange minifigure head, which was a beach ball in the summer model, and now it's a witch. And now we have these 2 Technic bricks that I believe are supposed to be white ghosts. And for just a little bit more Halloween, here in the tree off to the side, which is just connected by a clip, we've got this little build here that's supposed to represent a bat. We also have some red and yellow and orange pieces in here, kind of to represent the fall colors. This particular set didn't come with any foliage pieces other than like the little green flower piece, the old style flower, because it only has 4 petals. So it's kind of hard to show fall colors in this particular set. Same 2 minifigures. The instructions tell you to switch the heads so that you've got the woman with the brush, supposedly maybe brushing or sweeping or raking leaves. And here you've got the kid, maybe he's just holding a leaf, maybe he's just playing in them. And then if I move him real quick, you can see we've got a couple of mushrooms. In between, we've got what looks like a covered porch area or carport. It's hard to tell. And we've got the front door of the very, very little house. Here you can see some of those white bricks that have kind of been hidden. There's a lot more on the inside of the upper level. Unfortunately, we can't see inside the upper level, but we can see inside the house. You can see this is actually all bricked off, and we have more white bricks hidden up here. Here off to the side, we've got a little fireplace, which I thought was odd that this wasn't where the light brick was being used, but I think that that's going to happen in the winter build. And then on the inside, we have almost no interior. We just have what looks like a little sofa and a light. And then on the back, we don't really have anything here to note. And we do have one little porch light. And when I used to set this out with the rest of my Halloween stuff, before I had too much to include this particular model, I would put some lights in there and inside of the house to help light it up with the rest of the Halloween display. And since this is publishing on the first day of fall, I have a little bonus display here, the bonsai tree, which is a regular Lego set. And if you've seen it, you know that it comes with a set of green branches and leaves, or you have the option to use the alternate branches, which are pink and have all the pink frogs to represent the Japanese cherry blossoms. But I felt like I wanted to see a tree in fall colors. So I actually, a few years ago, ordered all the fall color parts here, and I just placed them on the tree in the same way that the original green parts were placed. And we've got a nice mix of brown, red, yellow, and orange, and I think it makes a nice little fall bonsai tree. And I had a few spare leaves, and I went ahead and just left them as if they have already fallen off the tree. Thank you for watching this video on this first day of autumn 2025. I hope you enjoyed my look at the alternate model of the Changing Seasons set, as well as my own modification of the bonsai tree. I have the final video of my series of Star Trek builds coming out at the end of this week. I will go ahead and let you know that as of the time of this recording, LEGO has teased their upcoming Star Trek set that has been long rumored. However, the Star Trek video was recorded before that teaser was sent out, so I'll just give you that warning since it is very likely to publish after the official announcement comes. Then after that, October will be upon us, and October means Halloween, and I have no end of builds to choose from to make videos from. My first one is going to be my attempt to do a mock out of parts from the Creator 3-in-1 Haunted House that was just released. And then I have several other things planned for the rest of the month. So I hope you'll come back for that. And until then, remember, today is a good day to build.